What's missing?
I figured out what's missing, Doctor.
What
You
is
haven't
that?
put up a figure of.
Oh, I was hoping you wouldn't notice that. You know what? As you know, I build a giant nativity set every year
Oh,
in my
yes,
mom's
I do know that. Yeah, yeah.
right. And what I use to sort of as the part of the architecture of the nativity set are the bins where I keep my toys in, and the Star Trek one is currently under the manger.
Ah.
So yeah, so for the month of December,
So Christmas has killed a little moment of Starfleet Boy that I cherish. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm teasing. We love Christmas on Starfleet Boy. In fact, this could be. Wait, this would be, if I'm thinking correctly, this might be our Christmas episode of Starfleet Boy that we're recording right now. So Merry Christmas to you, Doctor.
Merry Christmas to you as well.
Well,
Why would you?
we banked them, right? So this week that we're actually recording
Uh-huh.
is going to
The
be
one we just recorded,
we just
and
recorded,
then
which
there's
is
next week.
reunion.
It's not
Oh,
Christmas.
next week is not
No,
Christmas. Oh,
yeah, no. We would have to record one more,
one more to do our Christmas episode.
right? So this is pre-Christmas.
So, all right. Now that we have a handle on when this episode's coming out, it's still Happy Christmas to you, Doctor, because there are 12 days of Christmas and they would have already begun, correct?
Yes,
No, or they began, right? No.
yes. By the time this one goes on, yes, I believe so.
All right. So we're safe.
We're safe. We're
In
within the
Christmas.
realm of yeah.
We're within the realm of Christmas. What are your
Mhm.
speaking of which, Star Trek's in my Christmas time uh viewing like tradition. I don't know if you know
Really?
this, but we all yeah,
Why?
I always
Heavens! Why?
generations always has felt like a
Oh
Christmas movie to me.
God!
It's the one scene in the it's the one scene in the freaking Nexus, but I watch it. I watch Generations every Christmas. It's like my go-to star. It's part of the. I do Generations. I do Muppet Christmas Carol. I have a movie
I do.
round
I
up.
do have.
Okay.
I have a Christmas movie right up. I do.
I haven't I haven't done this in a while, but Home Alone I think is going back in this year. It's been a while since I've seen Home Alone. And then let's see what else is in there. There's a lot of movies. There's just a lot of Christmas going on at this time here. Oh, Santa Claus the movie, but I don't know a lot of
Oh
stuff.
my God! You have that?
Oh yeah, I have it on
Anchor
DVD,
Bay.
or it might be on Laserdisc. It's been a long
Oh
ass time. I don't know.
wow!
Yeah, I don't know. Santa Claus the movie. That's a special movie. That needs a
Yeah.
remake, like a legit
Mm-hmm.
proper or an update or a remaster. Can you
Yeah.
remaster
The DVD is not
Santa Claus?
remastered. It's not remastered. Yeah, I have
Yeah.
Die Hard 2.
Oh, is that? There's a debate about about Die
Die Hard
Hard being.
2 is one of my all-time favorite Christmas movies.
Wow. Okay,
Not
you're in that
one.
camp.
I'm in that camp. I'm in that camp.
Well, then Predator. Well, then Predator's on my list for some weird reason.
Predator is not set during the holidays at all.
It has that feeling.
It's not. It's set in the
It's
jungle. I don't know why you know.
having Christmases in Miami, then you practically have had a Christmas in the Predator
That's
films.
true. That
So
is true.
it's true that there we live in the jungle here.
Die Hard 2, and I also Nightmare Before Christmas is Emma and I debate this all the time.
hmm It's for me. It's a Thanksgiving time. It
Oh,
goes
she would
right
just call
on
you
after
stupid.
Halloween.
Well, no,
No, it goes
she
on right
calls me
after Halloween.
stupid because I say it's a Christmas movie, and she says no, I'm stupid. It's a Halloween movie.
It is a Hall. I mean, honestly,
And
it was released on Halloween, wasn't
no,
it?
it was not. It was released. It
Oh,
was not.
what?
It was not, sir. It was released for the
Oh,
Christmas, which is why I think of it as a Christmas movie.
to see that together
We
when
went
it was
to,
released.
well,
Or-
yes, Yes.
along with the Empress, was
Yes.
were the Galactic Heroes all together at this
They
time?
were. They were, I believe.
Interesting. Okay, audience, for those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, you have
Oh
to go
boy.
back and
Go ahead.
watch previous episodes of Starfleet Boy. But knowing is what is on your Christmas list of films, if you even have one, or holiday list, to be a little bit more inclusive. Or even if you don't celebrate holidays, what movies do you watch around this time of year? And if there is any such thing that you do, but we would love to know. And if Star Trek's among that.
I don't know why. There's no Christmas
list
on Star Trek except for that one instance. I give you credit.
That's why I watch it. That's why I watch it.
That is the one.
And the music, I use that track late at night when I'm looking at the Christmas tree. Sometimes I just contemplate.
Really?
Do you ever just contemplate your Christmas tree? Do you ever like sit?
I used to. Yeah.
Really?
Well, I do at work. We have a huge tree at work, and I'm very proud of it every year. But
yeah, I like to sit and watch it. I don't know why. I don't know what joy
no, I do too.
It's
the lights and
the lights is like a thing you do for like 20 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, I play holiday music, and believe it or not, that track is in it because for some reason it just stirs the Christmas.
Who's the composer on Generations?
It's I know this. Hold on. The old memory here to fire up. I'm gonna have to ask the extended brain.
I have it right here.
Look it up. Generation. Oh, Dennis McCarthy.
Dennis McCarthy.
Which he did a ton of scores on Star Trek: The Next Generation, and then he doesn't score Star Trek again after Generations.
It's a shame.
It's a great soundtrack. Celebratory nature of the Generations soundtrack.
All right, so we're here to review an episode of Next Generation called Future Imperfect.
Future Imperfect. What happens in this episode, Doctor? Do you not remember?
Oh, Riker and a company of his men beam down to a planet.
Riker's birthday at the beginning of the episode.
Oh, okay, that's right. It's Riker's birthday.
Yep.
He's playing the trombone.
He's turning 40. I'm imagining that he's turning 40 because I'm turning 40 this year. So I'm gonna have. I don't know what real age. What his actual birthday is.
Is that when we become seasoned?
Yeah, this is when we'll become seasoned.
So he's celebrating another seasoning, and he's called away by the captain to beam down to the planet. I don't know why.
I think it's Nelvana. Well, there was the episode starts off with Riker having his birthday party, which is kind of fun little scene there, and then Picard is like trying to rush to get his work done so that he can go down to attend. And
okay.
And he reminds Data. He's like, Mr. Data, we must hurry or we'll be late to Commander Riker's party. And just as they're about to walk off the bridge, one of the officers at a science station or something like that says, hey, we're getting some kind of anomalous reading from, if I'm not mistaken, it's Nelvana 3. And Picard kind of like realizes, well, I have to kind of hear the report for this because there's rumors that the Romulans were building a base on Nelvana 3. There were like rumors floating around or that something like that. Mm-hmm. When they detect, I think, like life readings or it's an inhabitable planet, but they detect some sort of readings like energy readings or life readings. So that's when the birthday party and asks Commander Riker to put together an away team, and he puts together Geordi and Worf.
Mm-hmm. Right. The regular crew.
the regular crew. They beam down, and then all of a sudden there's like a high amount concentration of like methane or some other gas that's like knocking them
Yeah,
out.
some noxious
And
gas. Yeah, right.
Riker and anyways, Picard tries to get them out of there, but the transporter is being interfered with, blah, blah, blah. And then we see Riker pass out. And then when he wakes up, he's on sick bay. And all of a sudden, we see an older Dr. Crusher and in an iconic kind of like, Dutch tilt, beautifully styled. Riker is waking up, and it's like now like something like 20 years or 16 years in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And he's now the captain of the Enterprise. But everything seems a little off to him, and he realizes this. He thinks he's going a little nuts at first, but then he realizes that something's weird because Minuet is depicted in recordings as his wife, so he knows it can't be real because totem. And so he kind of calls bullshit on the whole thing, and then we find out that, or we're led to believe that have captured him, and there is in fact a base there, and they're trying to interrogate him for his knowledge using holographic interrogation techniques, which is kind of awesome actually, that if the Romulans do employ this kind of interrogation technique,
Totally
which
believe, yeah.
unbelievable. But then that doesn't seem quite right either. He's introduced to this child, Ethan, and to be kind of like a know-it-all, been there for a long time, and somehow arranges for them to escape and hide out in this part of the Romulan base that can't be scanned because of the composition of the rocks, which is always the case. And then Riker calls bullshit on that, and then finally Ethan reveals that he's the last. His parents left him behind, kind of battle or war or something, and they left him with this like chamber that can create any illusion for him. So it's very similar to this kid must be from the species that Worf encountered before in the episode that we referenced.
It's the reverse of that episode, isn't it?
It's the reverse of that episode, right? So this kid has all this holographic technology to his advantage, and it turns out that his name is like Barash or something like that. It's not even Ethan. Oh, and I forgot the most important part is the whole time they're trying to convince Riker that this kid, his and Minuet's kid. So Riker kind of views him, again, it's playing with this theme of like, fathership or fatherhood, and he ends up, hey kid, like, sorry you're alone. I can't stay here with you in your illusion, but I can beam you aboard the Enterprise and send you home to Worf's parents. Who will
take care with the Rashenkos.
You can stay with the Rashenkos.
Like every other child.
Like every other child. And bada bing, bada boom, we have our episode.
Well told. Well told.
The ending was fake news. What I said. We don't actually know what happens to Brush. I don't think there are any novels or stories or anything like that, or if Riker continues a relationship with him. But that's future Imperfect. What did you think of the episode?
I've always thought this is I love Riker episodes because they're always mindfucks. They're always they always have many of them have a Hitchcock to them.
It's interesting that it turns out that way too. It's interesting that Riker is the character that has to endure kind of this kind of thing, because doesn't he later he gets abducted by
aliens, schisms, and he always gets these really trippy episodes that I think it's why I've always liked Riker so much. And Riker's sort of like the he kind of has a Harrison Ford like quality, like in movies like Frantic and stuff, where he's just he knows the truth about something, but no one believes him. So I mean, he's the perfect Hitchcock type hero. I mean, um, so this episode is certainly in that vein. The episode also kind of bears a similarity to Mission Impossible, which is another Paramount series, and of course, in the Mission Impossible is all about the crew that would make those types of setups where they would make the person believe that they were,
That's right.
you know, they were 20 years older, and oh, the Cold War's over and all
I
this
forgot.
stuff.
It does have like a
Right.
yeah. It does
So
have a real
so
vibe.
this kind of has a Mission Impossible vibe to it. So I enjoy it greatly because of that. And they do a great job right up into the reveal of the Romulans and Tomalak. I love that they brought Tomalak back. I have this thing where I feel that the Romulans were the great villains of Next Generation that never happened.
Right. They kind of
And
do. Yeah.
and I
Or
feel that
it's
mhm.
well, yeah. They never happen, but I feel like they're persistent. They're at least all the way through
They are.
the most the latest film of the last Next Generation
Yeah.
film is a Romulan
Yeah,
story.
they're always kind of there, but their full potential is never realized, I think. But this episode, you just get the just the deviousness, the cunning of the Romulans. I mean, they're not investing time in making holodecks for recreational use on their starships. They're
Hey,
investing their resources in
come on, the Romulans have to have recreational holotechs.
oh,
Like,
man, they just want to create stuff like this. This is great.
everyone in the Romulan Empire, Star Empires in the Tal Shiar or the
I don't know about that. I
military.
don't know about
We
that.
know because we go to Romulus. Actually, one thing I have to give Next Generation credit for, and the Klingons too. Now, back then, I was totally happy that we were like diving deep into the Romulan thing because I was really fascinated by Romulans. But having seen the Klingons portrayed possible way on Star Trek Discovery, I'm now longing for more rich Klingon stories. I don't think it's like the worst possible way, but were portrayed the way I would have portrayed them. But anyways, going back to Romulans, like we get to go to Romulus and we get to see like what life is like, even though it's framed from the perspective of the Romulan underground and Spock and everything. But I don't know. I feel like Romulans had a good. That's one thing I like about TNG, and in terms of what they did with the Romulans, was that you really got the sense of a whole different society. Like you got a full sense of like, not a full sense, but you got a deeper sense of what the Federation was up against in terms of why the Romulans are the way they are, etc. All that good stuff. So it was quite deep. But I don't know. I disagree with you about the fizzling out. I think the Romulans fulfilled their interested in going to war. They didn't have the resources. It didn't seem like they didn't really have the support of the people. Like most Romulans were just like interested in like, they were definitely xenophobic in the sense that they wanted to protect their borders. I don't think the Romulans wanted to have like to be a part of the Federation. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I don't think they were looking for war either. I don't know. Do you think the full potential of the Romulans would have been a Romulan Federation war?
Yeah, I think something along the lines of Deep Space Nine.
Like that,
The Cardassians would eventually happened with those types of plots.
Taking the Romulan story in its completion, though, it's odd and interesting that it also the TNG Romulan story extends into the Kelvin universe, and it really makes it an interesting tie-in to this alternate universe. It's just brilliant in many ways, but I kind of like a big reason for really enjoying the 2009 Star Trek is that I really did feel like Nero was from Romulus in TNG era Romulus. And the ship, the Narada, to me felt like a TNG era ship because it kind of echoed Shinzon's style, even though that was Riemann, in its origins. But it had this this greatness to it. What did you think? What did you think of like the Narada and how it all fit into TNG? And just I know it's sidebar, but just curious.
Oh, I agree with you. I think what we saw of the Romulans in the reboot was an excellent extension of what we had seen of Romulans so far, which a lot of it is from Next Generation, and I have to admit, helping smooth things over, of course, was the excellent prequel graphic novel, which is of course is Countdown, and
Yes.
which I have my autograph copy right here,
Ooh.
autographed by the artist, and it really shows what you say is in fact correct, which is that he is a Romulan from the Next Generation era. So yeah, you're absolutely right. But getting back to the episode, I loved the idea of the Romulans trying to get the the information out of Riker and that whole espionage angle, and then then we get to the kid, and I think the kid kind of derailed things for me a bit.
You think that the fact that like you kind of liked you wanted the episode to stay at a Romulan subterfuge.
Yeah, I would have
You
liked
didn't like
that.
that.
Yeah.
You didn't like the one extra layer of
No.
what is that movie called? Inception. This was exactly like Inception. Like
Mhm.
it's like
Yeah.
actually it's structured in much the same way.
Yeah.
We go deeper into the dream, and each time his totem, he has something to hold on to reality to kind of help him. I mean, I think it's like I definitely agree because there's so many. There's a lot of kids on Star Trek: The Next Generation as it is, but you have to remember, like I was a kid when I was watching this, and for me, when I remember, I loved it whenever there was like another kid on the show because I was like, that could be a story that I could be involved in. You know what I mean? Like, it's so cool. There's like young people on Star Trek: The Next Generation. Like you could imagine yourself in some kind of situation. So I think that's good, but I think that outside of that, like it's not really anything that um I don't know. To me, it seemed totally feasible. Like I thought that it was like something that like a kid would do is try to ensnare.
Oh well, yeah. No,
You know,
I believe it. It's very believable, and but it just for me personally, like I was,
and
I
a kid with
really
this kind of power. I mean, like this kid's got like my
well,
dream set up. Like,
right. It's not the kid
it's,
was the power. It's I guess it's the
right. But
whatever the mom left him with.
well, yeah, his parents or mom or whatever
His mom, yeah.
left him with
Right.
technology that reads his mind
Right.
and then can produce this like reality.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting concept. I mean, like what's interesting about it also is like we're kind of headed there of our available we're like virtual technology, the technology that deals with virtual things is like kind of gonna I feel like a holodeck may happen. I might be like here, but it may happen in our lifetimes, like some kind of like very rudimentary
Hmm.
um
Sure.
holographic experience like that. So it is compelling, and it is a lot of power because if you have a chamber that sustains you, it's the whole matrix
Yeah. Yeah. But
concept.
yet he knew that it wasn't real. I mean,
Right. And that's the
not just.
thing.
I mean, of course he knew it was real, but I guess it wasn't fulfilling enough for him.
No, the
And
kid, you mean the kid or for
the
Riker?
the kid,
Yeah, it wasn't fulfilling. And nothing could be until you brought
right?
another person into it, which is how life, I think, is. I think that's, if you're human or alive.
Well, it's interesting. I don't
It's like,
know. I mean, that's certainly the argument that the Next Generation is making. I mean, it made it with that previous episode that you cited, which is the one where the aliens were trying to give this boy, this fake, life based on, his mom is still alive, his dad, and all this stuff. And it goes all the way back actually to the pilot of the original series, of course, with the butthead aliens giving Pike.
the
What are
menagerie.
they?
Right?
No, it's not the menagerie. It's
the Telosians.
The Telosians giving Captain Pike and then the girl
giving them
right.
Like a dream world. That's true.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a theme that keeps coming up in Star Trek, but
I mean, there's but a dream.
Yeah,
to Star Trek 5, which, by the way, we have to do a recording of Star Trek 5.
Star Trek 5. There we go. That's another. Yeah, right. So it's a theme that runs throughout Star Trek, which is interesting. I mean, I've certainly read alternate views on that. I'm actually in the midst of reading an Andre Norton sci-fi novel, which it's right here, Night of Masks, and it has actually a child in that exact same scenario. His father, it's his father in the case of this book, leaves the kid behind on this planet, and he basically leaves him in a scenario just like this, where he's able to live out whatever adventures that he wants, but the child knows something about the father. So these people that want to get to the father, what they do is that they send somebody into this kid's, let's say, holographic world, posing as one of the characters that he's dreamed up, to lure him out and to lure him into the real world. And it takes some convincing, because the kid loves this pretend world.
Well, that kind of reminds me of the upcoming episode where Data gets is that the one where Data gets like kind of damaged somehow, and he's on this planet? I might be merging like 3 or 4 episodes, but there's an episode coming up with an older fellow who has a whole village that's a hologram, and he's the only real person, but the villagers who are holograms think that they're real. Do you remember that one?
Isn't that an episode of Enterprise?
Oh,
where
sure?
With Odo is playing.
Why would Odo be on the? Oh yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
Odo,
Rene Auberjonois. No,
right.
No.
It's him and his daughter.
And
the ship crashed, and the Enterprise crew find, but then they're all holograms. They've all died, and it's just the old man and his daughter, and because the old man just can't bear to, because I guess they were going to colonize a planet or something, and.
Oh yeah, that is a Rene Auberjonois episode. That's pretty awesome. Where his daughter, you're right. Whoa, is Star Trek using the same ideas over and over again and we're not realizing it? Does that happen? No, I'm just kidding.
I wish another show would do that. Maybe we'd like it better.
I think Discovery's trying. It's only chapter 1. I'm gonna give it all the way through to the end.
Yeah, okay. All right.
I'll go down with that.
I'll just sit here and read my Night of Masks while you wait for that to happen.
We have plenty of good Star Trek content to talk about, but the episode that I'm thinking of is Star Trek. I'm gonna let Google do this for me. Holographic Village. It's gonna come up with the Baku watch. It is Deep Space Nine that I'm thinking of. For Crying in the Night. It is. Oh, okay. So the episode I was thinking of is actually Deep Space Nine, called Shadow Play, and it's not Data. Obviously, I think it has to be.
Bashir?
I'm gonna guess it's either Bashir or O'Brien, the one on the planet. It's Odo. O'Brien maybe is there too.
Wow, I don't remember that one.
I'm having trouble. I know why. By the way, I realized why I merged it with everything else. It's because I was probably watching it for Drunk Space Nine and had a little too much to drink while I was watching it, which is what we do for Drunk
So
Space Nine.
Odo was in 2 episodes of Star Trek that had the same premise.
Yeah, Rene Auberjonois was as two different
right.
characters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the actor. Yeah,
Let's see here. IMDb
that's funny.
Shadow play. Star Trek. Scrolling around in this little mind of Starfleet boys here. But getting back to this episode, I think your original point was the kid ruined the episode for you. How much did it ruin it? Like, were you like loving it, and then all of a sudden you're like, this is
yeah.
garbage?
Well, I mean, it.
Or overall, were you like?
No, I mean, I still enjoy the episode a lot because it has so much great detail leading up to that swerve to
The Romulan holodeck design is pretty cool.
yeah, but just the details of like 16 years later, you know, you got Picard with that cool, you know, little William Hartnell-esque long hair back there. He just decides to let his whatever hair he's got left grow.
He kind of looks like his mirror self.
He does because he has the goatee.
He has the goatee in it.
Yeah, which is cool. Well, he never had a mirror self, but
oh, I know he does in the comic. There's a
there is recently.
Yeah,
I haven't read it yet.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. They kind of like have a similar vibe.
Yeah, but Picard is cool there, and then you know, the second time you see it, or you know, or subsequent times that you watch it, you of course you pick up on little things that were there the whole time that you don't really think about the first time. Like for example, the fact that Worf is just kind of like you know, he's kind of huddled on that the helm, and he looks very meek and very he doesn't look very particularly strong, and of course that's because the Romulans can't help but portray a Klingon that way. I mean, you know,
I didn't even notice
dreaded enemies.
Right.
Of course, Worf is all like, you know, like they can't bear.
Now I've got to go back and watch. I can't remember that. Wow.
And then the little
good little catch.
The little you know, the problems with the computer.
Really, audience like a suspicion that something was definitely wrong.
That's a clue.
That was a good clue.
Right.
And then this
a lot of credit goes to Gates McFadden as Crusher, because I mean she's saddled with a lot of exposition really in terms of what is going on. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, here we go. This is I like that the TNG breaks the mirror.
Mirror broken.
It's like mirror broken. His Borg implants. Deanna looks the same as in the regular universe.
Yeah, she does really.
Yep. And for some reason
Picard's quite built here. I don't know if his
well, but he is. Have you ever seen?
I don't know about that.
I think so. I think he actually is. Here, I'll prove it to you. I remember one of our friends. I don't know how much she likes to be mentioned on the air, but she used to remark. She used to remark about how for lack of a better word, well endowed, well sculpted. Thank you. It's a better.
I don't think you. She probably thought he was well endowed as well, but I think what you mean to say is
what I meant to say was well sculpted. Patrick Stewart is.
But there's tons of details in this episode that I love. You know, just the little things they do to make people appear older, which. I mean, certainly in the case of Crusher, I think they go a little overboard with that whole. I don't know what. I mean, it looks like at first I thought maybe she just didn't have enough time to prepare herself that morning, because she's got like these strange little things going in her hair. But
there you go.
okay, that, by the way, that's for First Contact, isn't it?
Yeah, but look, he's just
Yeah,
totally like
okay.
posing.
In
He's showing his guns, so to both of his. He has a rifle and two guns.
that he like worked out for like a year and a half to build up to that because he knew he was going to be in a feature film. I don't think he normally looks like that, but
all right, I'll find a TNG appropriate.
But anyhow, getting back to the episode.
Ladies and gentlemen out there, if you want a Patrick Stewart show, go on. Sorry.
Yes. Hi. Is it cold?
Hi.
No, I'm just right here.
But is it cold
And
outside?
It's raining outside.
It's not?
All day.
Oh.
It's raining though. It's been raining all day.
Can you give me 1 minute? We're gonna have to wrap this up or something.
All right, we can. Yeah, I think we've talked about it, but let me.
Okay.
Let me just show one image in the ratings. So here's
right.
TNG era Patrick before Sir. This is the.
Yeah.
There are 4 lights.
There are
See,
4
he's
lights.
still ripped. But you're right. He's not as ripped.
Okay.
As later on. So so you win that one there, Doctor. Just really quickly, I know you have to go. I guess touching on what you said, like I can definitely say that for me, rewatching it, the only thing that like I think I liked this episode a lot when I first saw it when I was a kid, because it was definitely like, you know, all the excitement of the Romulan thing, and again, when I was a kid, I didn't really mind the kid thing. I didn't mind any of that watching it now either. In fact, watching it, I was like, oh yeah, this is a delightful episode. But what I will say is that like you can't do first feeling ever again of being surprised when on a episode of this kind. So as far as rewatchability goes, again, like once you've seen it, the surprise is spoiled, so a little bit of it diminishes, I think, after time. So I think my rating for this episode, you don't doubt my rating?
Go ahead.
My rating for this episode is a 7.5.
Okay, well I will give it a 7.
Oh.
It's a solid 7.
Solid 7.
Solid 7.
So yeah, we're in the same ballpark there, so that's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Doctor,
I didn't even get to the book, but
we'll you didn't get to the book.
No, I know, but I gotta go.
You can't say no to your nephew, otherwise you'd be Worf in the previous discussion.
I don't want to be Worf. I don't want to pull a Worf.
Don't pull a Worf. Go hang out with your family. Live long and prosper, and we'll see you next time.